Well, good morning. Today is Thursday, April the 15th, and it's my pleasure to bring the most recent update for the City of Belleville as we deal with this COVID-19 pandemic. And today finds me on the 4th floor of Belleville City Hall, right outside the Mayor's office, and I will talk a little bit about some of this fantastic artwork that we have behind us in a little bit. But first I want to do a quick update, as I always do, regarding our numbers here in Prince Edward Hastings, the health unit. And as everyone knows, we are currently in a state of emergency with what they call gray zone restrictions, and in addition, a stay-at-home order by the province of Ontario. So it's still a very serious situation. We know that vaccines are rolling out, but we still got to be very, very careful. And the last couple of weeks have certainly shown us here in Belleville why we need to be careful. We've had great numbers, since the beginning of the COVID outbreak, and it's kind of startling to see those rises in cases. So we've had a little stabilization in the last couple of days. So we're now sitting at about 150 active cases in our region, which is down slightly. Since the beginning of COVID, over 14 months ago, we've had a total of 761 cases. So this 150 at this current time is a significant amount of the total cases that we've had, and so we've got to be careful, particularly because of these new variants of concern. But on the bright side, we've almost done 121,000 tests completed, and 44,000 vaccines have been administered in our region. So that means people across a variety of ages and demographics have been getting their vaccine, and almost 3,300 people have gotten both doses of those vaccines. So that's a great number, and that's the one that I'm really watching as we go forward, because as soon as we can get everybody having their second vaccine, then obviously that's a really important step for us as we deal with COVID-19. Just a reminder that as it comes to our city services and city operations, we're committed to continuing to provide the services that residents rely on. City Hall is open, but only by appointment. And so if you have any specific needs that you have to do, you can give us a call and set up an appointment, and we can deal with it. Otherwise, we have all of our services online that you can get information, contact individuals. Everyone's still working. It's just that we're not able to interact like we have in the past. The Quinte Sports and Wellness Center, Glanmore, the library, those facilities are all closed at this time according to the rules, but our outdoor spaces are open. So, obviously our playgrounds and our parks and our paths, it's a good idea to get out and get some exercise around town. But as I said on Monday at Council, just be careful. I've heard some disturbing reports of motorcycles and vehicles, actually cars, out on the Bayshore Trail, and that's just not right. It's dangerous for the people that are using it, and it's quite ignorant in terms of people who are using it, and it's illegal. And so, if you see somebody, take a picture. I had some residents send me a photo of the license plate. I forwarded that on to the Belleville Police Service, and they will take the appropriate action. As I said earlier, those vaccine numbers are great. So right now we're 60 years of age and older that are being able to be vaccinated. Go to the provincial government's website. Here is the address here on the screen for you to go on, and you can book online. And there's also telephone number if you don't have access to the internet and you can't book online. You can get your vaccine as soon as possible. And certainly Belleville City Council on Monday, we asked that for the priority groups that are eligible for vaccination, that we should immediately include education workers as well as the manufacturing sector. We've had a couple of outbreaks in some of our facilities, and so it's really important that we have teachers and those in the education system so we can get back to school, but also for those 9,000 or so employees that are working in our manufacturing sector, that they're protected as well. In terms of a couple updates from this week's Belleville City Council meeting, first of all, I want to welcome newly appointed Councillor Carol Feeney. Carol was sworn in on Tuesday in a small ceremony because of COVID restrictions, but here's a picture of her and I right after she was sworn in, and we're looking forward to working with her. And I also want to take a moment and say a big thank you to Ryan Williams, who served as a councillor since the election in 2018. Ryan has resigned his seat as he is a candidate in the federal election. And he's expecting it to be called soon, so he decided to step aside. So we've replaced him with Carol Feeney, but we do want to wish Ryan all the best in the election whenever it is, and thank him for his service in the past. The Parks and Recreation Master Plan was released, and it is available on the city website, and it generated a lot of discussion on Monday because it's such an exciting document. You know, the last time we really did work on the Parks and Recreation Master Plan was way, way back in 1971. So, 50 years ago was when we last did that work. Robin Jeffries was the mayor at that time, so it shows you how long ago it was. But we have been working on it. The phase 1 of it, the first draft, came to council, and we are very, very happy with it. And I invite you to take a look at it to talk about the long-term vision for not just our parks and open spaces, but all of our recreational activities, both passive and more active. It's really a great document, and we are working on it. And we're actually going to be able to take some of the suggestions that are in this draft and put them into effect later this summer, and there'll be more news on that. Again, you can look at that report here at belleville.ca/PRMP, and those initials, of course, stand for Parks and Recreation Master Plan. The 2021 pop-ups on the Bay, which will be back at West Zwick's Park, we've confirmed all the vendors. This year, you will have the choice of a number of returning vendors, but also new ones. Authentic apparel for some clothing, Benji's Cafe and Bake Shop, Brick Oven Pizza Truck, Falafel King, Gators Fries, Golden Scoop Ice Cream, Jerkabago, Lemons, Menchie's Frozen Yogurt, Royal Haveli, Smokin' Carnivore, Sugar Mama's Bake Shop, and Venture Outfitters are all there. It's great to see 13 vendors this year. We've actually had to build or buy new pop-up structures for them, and so that's very, very exciting. And stay tuned to this address here, popupsonthebay.ca, for updates. Lastly, just a couple of things. April the 18th to the 24th is National Volunteer Week. And boy, do we ever count on our volunteers right across so many different sectors. So we say thank you to them, and it's been a tough year with COVID restrictions, but there are still people that are out feeding the poor, helping with homelessness, working in their churches or their houses of worship, volunteering with the United Way, with different organizations. We say thank you to all of them, but also all of you who have had to pause your activities as volunteers. We're looking forward to when you can come back and return. And then also lastly, April the 22nd is Earth Day. And while we will be recognizing Earth Day on April 22nd, because of this provincial shutdown, we're moving all of our activities to May. And so the trash bash, where we go out and collect garbage in our community, and other activities we will do in the month of May around town, and more information about that will be coming. Lastly, as I said, here I am on the 4th floor of Belleville City Hall, and one of the things that we've done some changes about is we've tried to take some art that is typically in storage at the Parrot Gallery in the Belleville Public Library, and on loan to us are some of these pieces of art. And behind me is a really interesting one called Maestro. And it reminded me of May 24th, 2019, so almost 2 years ago, when we had the first Mayor Celebration for the Arts. And we had a luncheon where we recognized the impact and the contribution that the arts community makes for the city of Belleville, giving us a great place to live. But also we had a concert by the Quinte Symphony. And here's a picture of actually where they asked me to come on and help conduct one of the last songs one of the last pieces that they played that evening. But we had a wonderful turnout that day, and it's just a reminder of what we get to look forward to as we continue to work hard to flatten the curve, be safe, until we can get vaccinated and then return back to some of those types of activities. We are making plans this year for some activities later in the summer when it is safe, as well as in the fall indoors if it is safe. And I look forward to sharing news about that in the future. But isn't it great to look back and to see, remember what we used to be able to do to give us a little bit of incentive for what we're going to do in the future. So with that, that's my update for this week. I hope that everybody stays safe. We've had some great weather. We're getting at some rain, but we're going to have some great weather again. Enjoy the outdoors, get some exercise. If there's anything that I or any members of council, including newly appointed Councillor Carol Feeney, please contact us and we'd be happy to help you. All the best.